Welcome to Modern Art Blitz. My name is Mat Gleason. I'm your host for an hour of blitzing modern art. I just realized I didn't post on my Facebook page that we're doing this today.
Do you want me to?
We're going to find out. No, people know. We're live every Sunday at 5 p.m. on Dromebox.com. We're archived at modernartblitz.com via YouTube. That's a website too. This is my lovely co-host, Lisa Derrick.
Hi.
Between Lisa and I, we meander through conversations with some of the most interesting artists working in Southern California and internationally today. I was almost going to say abroad, but if I wanted to talk about abroad, I'd talk about you. Our guest today, we have a lot of guests today. It's going to be a guest-worthy show. Our first guest is sitting right here, and his name is Gary Brewer. Gary! Welcome to Modern Art Blitz.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Gary, you've been making art in the Los Angeles art scene for, well, how long have you been in the Southern California art scene?
10 years ago, I started with L2 Contemporary in Chinatown.
L2 Contemporary,
Yeah.
the late, great L2 Contemporary. Or they may come back, though. They may
might.
rise from the ashes. They're going to be like a phoenix and rise from the ashes. The joke here is L2 had a small fire a couple of years ago, and I was there the day it was burning. Yeah. It was kind of scary. So were you an artist before you moved to LA?
Yeah, I've been painting professionally for 40 years. I mean, I've been an artist, dedicated to making art for 40 years, and started exhibiting in the late. Actually exhibited in LA before in the early 90s.
Where in the early 90s did you exhibit?
What was his name?
I know. When you can't remember where you're
I know. Boards are great.
Oh, wow, with Eitan Boritzer.
With Eitan Boritzer.
That is a blast from the past.
Yeah.
And Jim Gray, yes.
The very first one they had on Colorado.
In Colorado. Wow, that's even pre-Bergamot.
Yeah.
Wow, pre-90.
Before.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay, wow. Yeah,
I think in 92.
Boritzer.
Yeah.
I called him Ethan Howitzer once, and he called me in a rage. It was quite rabid. So tell us, we're looking at an artwork of yours. Is this a digital artwork? Is this a painting? What are we looking at?
This is a painting. This is oil on canvas.
Wow.
And how big is that?
That is 54 by 46, oil on canvas, and it's titled Gravity's Influence. And the painting is, a composite of imagery from a variety of sources, but the background is derived from the mapping of dark matter. NASA's been mapping dark matter.
Okay,
so how do you map dark matter?
You map dark matter by somehow or other knowing where a star should be in space.
Okay.
And then they use the Hubble Deep Space Telescope to look in that direction. And if the star is not where it should be, they're assuming that dark matter's gravitational shift is shifting the light. And when the star is where it should be, there's no dark matter. So they've spent, decades doing this, or however long dark matter's been known now.
And so how did you incorporate that into the...
I am always searching for things in nature to use for subject matter in my paintings. I have an interest in a certain type of experience and form and movement. So when I find things, I keep them around. So I had that piece, that image from maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And it was when I got the show at MOA that I was going to do some really big paintings.
The Museum of Art and History in Lancaster.
Correct.
MOA.
Correct. And so because I wanted to make some large paintings, my paintings are very detail oriented and very labor intensive. So I thought, well, the dark matter would be possibly a really good background image. So I started about 1.5 years ago making them.
And so these are large paintings.
Yeah, this one's pretty large. The bigger ones are like 96 by 72.
Okay. And now, is dark matter blue?
No, it is not. It is probably colorless.
But you painted it yet blue. Why did you choose blue? Is there some quantum theory that I'm going to be tested on?
No, there's not. There's not. It was really just an intuitive choice. I mean, blue is beautiful. It has a limitless feeling of space. It has deep associations that are poetic, I think, with the evening sky and the color of the ocean.
And
emotion, and it's the best color for really being able to get deep, spatial distance.
Really?
Well, you know, like Da Vinci, when he did backgrounds, he instructed other artists that you should tint it blue. So all the early painters like Bruegel and stuff, usually the distant mountains will be in bluish tones. So blue just functions spatially as a deep space.
And it's the color that birds and bees can see most clearly. And I have a good friend who's colorblind, and he planted his garden entirely with flowers in shades of blue because he can see those, but not the green and reds.
Ah,
and
nice.
so he can enjoy them in a whole different way.
Yeah. But I chose blue, and it's just, at the moment, it's what I'm using. It's just a beautiful, deep, rich color, and also just as a painter for kind of simplifying complex problems, I wanted it to be a single color background, you know, kind of a color field, so that I wouldn't have to deal with complexities of space and reading space. It just sort of simplifies a big problem.
Even though this is based on these kind of technological imagery,
right?
Do you consider them to be abstract paintings?
No, I mean, I was an abstract painter for like 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you showed with Boritzer Gray?
Yeah, I did. When I showed with Boritzer Gray.
Okay.
And I showed in New York as well with Michael Walls, who you probably remember.
Who?
Michael Walls.
God, that name rings a bell.
You know him because he knew you. When you started Coagula,
really?
I was showing it like in '92, right?
Yeah.
I was showing in New York. That's the first time I read your magazine. It was in
no.
his gallery.
We were a little more confrontational then, shall we say?
Well, but you know, Coagula, the journal, is coming back, and it'll be curious to see how controversial you're going to be, because you're pretty controversial, Matt.
So we're looking at another painting here. Is this more dark matter?
Yeah. So all of these, the subject matter, like here's the metaphor, or this is what I'm trying to do. So the dark matter space, the macrocosm, and then mixing it with the microcosm. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm trying to create paintings to whatever degree of success I achieve, that, you know, kind of are metaphors and touch upon a sense of the mystery and the origin of life, and, you know, I want kind of almost, you know, transcendental or sublime effort on my part in these paintings. The figure in the foreground there is copper, and all of these paintings are copper, silver, and gold in the foreground, which are elements that are born in the death of a star when it explodes and sends it out, that then spins about and becomes us. So
and it's the sun, the moon, and Venus are represented by those elements.
We are stardust. We are golden.
We are.
And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden.
Indeed.
Oh, God. Okay.
Indeed.
So
one can shoot oneself, but it's actually not bad.
So when you have the copper, you have the gold, you have the silver in front. These are elements in nature. And do you look at abstraction as kind of the elemental process, and then you're kind of improving upon it, maybe?
Well, you know, I've limited spatial considerations. Like, I'm not painting a still life, I'm not painting a landscape. I've limited, you know, how much spatial interplay there is. They are abstracted, and as a painter, I feel like the way that I consider my choices and the way that I'm painting is a little closer to, say, abstraction than if I were doing a portrait of a person or painting a landscape, because of the reductions and certain choices that I've made. So, but I love abstract painting, and I mean, I fell madly in love with it and pursued it for years. I just couldn't quite find what I was after. And I love nature, and I hike a lot. So my wife was the one who suggested you should try to marry the two. And I thought I was going to be sort of like doing something similar to Terry Winters or something, but it just, I needed to go.
Yeah, that's okay.
I needed to go.
You went even further because you got this tightness to it.
The craft element just came something that satisfied something in my need as a painter.
I think, well, in one, I think it's certainly, I mean, that you're showing at the museum level now, you've been set apart from those who want to just kind of cheat, I would say, visually and whip the stuff out, whip out visual art in the hopes that they can just kind of move upward and through the system, whereas you're working at a completely different level. You're combining some of the formal concerns of abstraction with an intellectual concern layer of concept that abstract painting is just never going to have.
Right.
And then on top of that, you've actually crafted this stuff. It's pretty well crafted. I mean, I do have to say. Now, when I saw it in person, I just had the hunch that you were working from stuff from an aquarium.
Well, you saw the show that included a lot of the earlier work.
So there were some the earlier works at aquarium stuff.
Right. Well, the earlier works were. I mean, it actually started with lichen. I mean, it's funny. I was an abstract painter, And then I went through a very painful transition. It took me like a year of throwing everything away. And then I finally, there was a green bottle fly, 1950s era illustration of a green bottle fly. And I was so upset and distraught over everything I was doing, just sort of collapsing before my eyes, that I said, I'm just going to paint that damn fly. And so I just knocked out this little painting. And that's when volume and light, I realized, boy, there's something there that I can grab onto. So I started doing insects. I did a whole series of paintings of insects, and soon discovered how many people have truly profound insect phobias. Like somebody walking in and seeing by a 6-foot blue bottle fly, turned around, walked right out.
Wow.
So I thought, painting is hard enough. Being an artist is hard enough. I don't have to add another element that, causes people to not want to look at
You're
what I'm
basically
doing.
cutting out X% of your possible viewing audience
a pretty good
by
size.
repulsing them with an insect.
A pretty good
But
size.
though there are galleries in Los Angeles that specialize
Yeah.
in
But when
creepy
they're anyway.
Yeah,
For
but
me,
when
it was like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went through a transition again, and I was living in Oakland, and we moved to Oakland. And I was actually hiking with my son, who took my hat and was collecting things from the forest. Oakland, despite it being an inner city and urban ghetto-y place that people think of, it actually has incredible redwood forest just, a few miles up in the hills.
Didn't know that.
Incredible. I
Wow.
mean, it blew my mind too when we moved there. It's like, a vast redwood forest. So he collected all this lichen, and I brought it home. He said, Dad, you should paint these. And I said, I might. And I went home and I had a little viewing scope, and I looked at the lichen, and it's such a architect, like these forms. I mean, it's actually not unlike these dark matter forms. Very complex, very beautiful, and that's where
very ancient.
They're one of the oldest life forms on Earth.
Really?
So yeah, they're like 1.3 billion years old.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
That's not just rounded
No,
off.
no, that's yeah.
They had their 1.3. They had their 1.3
And
billion this year?
362 days.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, we're going to have a birthday for
party's
next
over.
week.
Party's over. Yeah.
But anyway, so that was the journey. And when I started doing the lichen, then I bumped into orchids that were also these kind of strange extraterrestrial anthropomorphic crazy ass flowers. So I included those, and then sea life. Just everybody thought everything was sea life anyway. So that's when I started adding coral and sea life. So I've always just been trying to find forms that have something, that move me, that are compelling, that are engaging both the imagination and physically, that we feel those movement. Like in the dark matter, you really feel that movement. It's almost like water moving or smoke moving or something. So so that was what led me to the sea life, the blending, and that was the series you saw. And then with these, people still think it's sea life because of the blue. They think, oh, is it underwater? But it's all, that's fine, because I've spent my life, I've surfed my entire life, and I've been in the water, both as a surfer.
Where's the best place to surf in Southern California?
Well, for me, it's the Balboa Peninsula, 15th Street, Newport Beach.
Balboa Peninsula, 15th Street, Newport Beach. Can I get a second on that? Well, apparently the surfers in the room are not impressed with your. The surfers in the room are not impressed with your favorite place to surf. But we'll get to that later in the show. We have some other surfers coming on today.
You can ask them.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if Balboa is going to.
No, they're
But have
like
you
it.
encountered any stingrays when you've been out surfing?
I have seen them. I've never been stung, but I've seen them.
Oh, we got a
And
couple-
little sand sharks too.
Well,
which,
stick around. We're
What
going to have some
about
surprises.
Seals or sea lions? Last week's artist encountered a sea lion.
Yeah, I've had sea lions pop up like right in front of my face.
Do they bite you, or they?
No, but they're
They're
big.
aggressive.
So
and
they
they can
scare the
Do
shit
they
out
say
of you.
get the fuck out of here?
Well, you do. You haul
do.
ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
you
they will
move
bite.
fast.
They can bite you.
And it's true. They poop like humans. They're like
I haven't seen their
They're
poop.
like logs.
I haven't seen their poop.
But back to the art here on Modern Art Blitz. Despite all of our surf forecasting, we will talk about the art. What are we looking at here?
This is titled Totemic Elements. And
How big is this?
That one's 72 inches by 96 inches.
Oh wow!
And this one I was trying to, allow, and this is gold, these are natural gold formations. And I was wanting to create like a dialogue between the two forms and have an almost, anthropomorphic or kind of an almost goofball. The one on the right looks like something out of like Star Trek or something, just some crazy ass, thing that you'd land on a planet. So I kind of like these things. They're beautiful, but they're also kind of nimble and move between a kind of a wacky, playful thing as well. And I mean, it's part of where they may be going. I don't know. Every time I start a painting, I've got a million thoughts going on, and then I kind of hone in.
Where's your studio?
The Bendix building.
The Bendix building on where?
12th and Maple.
Down in the Fashion District.
Correct.
So is that the one that the elevator broke down at the opening?
Yeah.
That's pretty famous. That was on Facebook. There was
Shit, man.
6 people in the
I
there
am
was 8
so
people
glad
in,
I
in
wasn't
the
on that elevator.
And they're all on Facebook.
I
All
mean,
art world people that we know and love and gossip with
Unbelievable.
and gossip about. And there they were. And they said one person freaked out, who shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
But other than the one person freaking out, everybody kind of hung out. Nobody farted.
Poor Habib. I mean, it just put,
It was Habib's art show, right?
Yeah, it was a post benefit.
Was he on the?
No, but he felt personally responsible.
Is there
Is
there only one elevator?
No, there's 2.
There's 2 elevators.
But he learned early on, and for that whole hour, he was just sweating blood that people were like.
And he didn't know who
stuck
was
in
on there. It could have been a big collector.
I don't know. He might. Well, actually, he had a funny story. He said there was a person on there who was a buyer, a collector, and that because he had the time on bid on some of the better artists, some more well-known artists, that he might have gotten those pieces because he could focus on the bidding. So sometimes bad luck can be good luck.
Bad luck can be good luck for someone else. So what are we looking at here?
Let's see. That is titled.
Wow.
Let me think about that for a moment. That is titled "Secrets and Emanations," and that is a natural piece of copper. And this is something that I found at a natural history store here in town.
And it's
Unfortunately, you can't buy a lot of stuff because it's like $700, you know.
It's a fixed, because they're specimen pieces of gems
like
and
museum,
minerals are really.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's affixed to the canvas?
No, that's a painting of it.
Oh,
so
it's a painting
I mean,
of it, I see.
the paintings, if they were in like this room, well lit, and you were looking at it, you might think it was like an object in front of it.
Spatially, yeah. That's the
Yeah,
amazing thing
it
that
really
you're really
pops
doing.
out.
You're playing with some spatial
Yeah.
stuff.
That piece of copper looks like a multi-armed god.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
goddess. It looks
Yeah, see, I love all that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
neat. You know,
Yeah.
it's mind-blowing that nature creates such awesome things and that they're made from resistance and force and these principles that guide cloud formation and, you know, all kinds of things. But then it also just generates in your response all of these, you know, deities and creatures, and so, you know. But that was a good one. That was the first one with the metal. That was the second painting of these I did, and I did it for the museum show at MOA. And
how was working with MOA?
it's great.
Yeah.
Andy's marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful space. It's mine. I grew up in Lancaster.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was a test pilot. I was
Really?
raised out there.
Is
when
he
I
in the
was-
right stuff?
He was not one of the test pilots at that stage. He was earlier on during and before World War II.
Oh, wow.
When they were testing bombers and stuff, and it would be groups of guys on these planes that were testing all the equipment. So he was one of the guys who was like, not like a Chuck Yeager flying an individual alone craft, but on bigger bombers and stuff and testing stuff. But so I grew up there. So and I lived right around the corner from MOA. So it was very touching in a funny way to go back there, like,
circle.
you know,
You know,
a
in
number of
mythology,
years later.
mythology, the hero always returns home.
That's right. That's
So,
right. I like
And
that.
conquering and
I
successful.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
So what's next for Gary Brewer?
Well, I think I will be. I don't want to say because I'm not certain of this, but
Uh-oh.
there's a.
Don't jinx anything.
I know,
now.
but there's something coming up at MOA that I will be in.
Okay.
They recently acquired a piece of mine.
Wow! Congratulations,
So
permanent
that's-
collection.
That's good.
That's
good.
beautiful.
That helps. And I have a few little things lined up, but I'm mainly just focusing on having.
Do you go into the studio
visits.
every day?
I do.
Every day.
Well,
Like
as
you
many
punch
days.
the clock.
As many days as usually 5 days a week.
Wow.
I mean, I have a day job too, so
Oh, what's your day job?
I shoot video.
You shoot video.
Yeah.
Like adult video?
Yeah, just like adult. No, I shoot litigation, legal stuff. I work with attorneys. It's pretty.
Oh,
you know,
okay. You have a job.
It's a job.
Yeah?
But it pays well and it gives me a lot of time. I mean, I work like 3 days a
Oh,
week.
depositions.
Exactly.
Right? Did you ever do a celebrity deposition?
I did.
Are you allowed to say?
I did
Don't-
Larry Ellison, who's not a celebrity,
Wow.
but he was.
No, that's
he was a
you know,
trip. You
Yeah,
know.
billionaires
Yeah.
are, a
And he
billion.
was also just a trip. I mean, he's like, he's created all kinds of shit. He runs his company and
Wow.
hands-on. Anyway, so we periodically do slightly interesting things, but it's mostly banal. The only good thing about it being banal is I get to read. So I get a lot of reading in when I'm shooting video.
Oh, you just set it up and
I've been doing it so long that I can like be
Set it and
focused.
forget it.
I shouldn't be saying this on the air, actually.
No, okay. No. Talk about art. Talk about art. So we will be seeing you in MOA soon. We will be seeing you at the Bendix building when you're for studio visits.
Indeed.
And when you have an open studio
Indeed.
there, right?
Right.
And you are a fixture on the Los Angeles art scene.
Thank you.
And
always a pleasure to see you at opening.
Yes, and yeah, you're not one of these people that you see at the opening and you go, oh God, I can't take it anymore. Every time I see that guy, all he does is crab, and it's always good to see you. Good energy, and of course, great painting.
Thank you.
Great art.
Appreciate
So,
it.
Gary Brewer.
See your artwork.
We'll see you at
Thanks.
the surf. We'll see you on the Balboa Pier. So
Yeah.
if you walk out to our, if you walk down the aisle here, you can give
Cool.
our next guest your microphone
Wonderful.
and receive some wonderful parting gifts. We're all going out to Chinese food after this. So thanks for being on Modern
Okay,
Art
great.
Blitz.
Thanks for having me. That was
All
great.
right.
We'll wait around and we'll go
So
Chinese food it up. Woo!
I got a text. Are you at Coagula? And I'm going to say no. I'm live on Modern Art Blitz. No, I'm live taping Modern Art Blitz. I don't want to say who texted me, but this person was once a guest of ours. So, okay, while Gary Brewer is giving his microphone to one of our next guests, I'm going to start a introduction for the three gentlemen who will be crammed on this couch. It's a dark world these days.
It's a grim, brutal world, Matt.
It's a dark world, and some artists are meeting that
Head on.
Gary Brewer is painting dark matter, making spatial relationships between the known and the unknown, depth and perception.
As above, so below.
Some artists are trying to solve Coagula. Some artists are trying to...
Can't believe you did that.
Some artists are really trying to depict the human condition and the tension therein. Two of them and an art curator are going to be joining us once the chaos has subsided. Are you guys ready?
Here they
Hey,
come.
Nolan, I need you to fix the camera too. Here they come.
are.
Greg, you could sit the furthest here, and then the two artists can sit. Somebody's going to be in the sandwich. So,
Oh my God.
Hi, welcome.
Chet
welcome.
Zar.
Chet Zar
And my
Christopher
big
Ulrich.
Christopher
So good to
Ulrich.
see you.
All right. I have questions for these young men.
Okay, let's do it proper.
Let's do it the real way.
Check my mic is making noise. What? Oh, it's touching something. Touch it. Hey! I know what's going on. I fix it. Okay. I got it wired. No tickling. Okay, we have the legendary Chet Zar, equally legendary Christopher Ulrich,
Thank you.
and a somewhat unknown man with a hat named Greg Escalante.
The most famous, the venerable.
Venerable! Oh, wow, there we go.
And I think his new nickname is Stingray Food.
Stingray.
I
So-
know we
so
were just talking about
We're
that.
gonna be revealing the
Wounds?
legendary wounds of
Do I have to
Greg
kneel down
Escalante.
and lift his feet up
you
to the
know,
camera
you
like
know,
Mary
just-
Magdalene?
no, there is no foot washing at this altar.
Going down.
So
I love it.
so let's start with you, Chet. Welcome to Modern Art Blitz.
Thank you.
I believe this is a painting of yours that on our wonderful green screen
It is.
behind us. This is an older one. I pulled it off your website, but I was very fascinated with this, and I was wondering if you can give us kind of the rundown of what inspired this, what's going on in it.
Well, this was a commission for a collector, and he wanted something that wasn't quite as dark as I normally do, I think.
So this is like your
sounds like a commission.
this is like your medium dark. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when they
This
mix
is like
vanilla
the
and
sunny
I
side.
think I just did a bunch of sketches for him to pick from, and he liked the expression on that guy's face, and it felt like he was going home. So
oh man.
I called it The Long Way Home. I think that's the title.
Wow. So who is this depicted in your painting?
It's just,
From the psyche?
yeah, everything I do is completely intuitive, and I try not to think too much about it until after the fact.
You don't hire models?
Not really.
No, they just comes out of your imagination?
Yeah. Usually, most stuff I paint without reference, but unless I need something like a hand in a weird position, I'll photograph.
Is this oil?
Yeah.
Wow. So
And
you're
how
working with
big
oil.
is it?
What's that?
How big is this piece?
It's 16 by 20, I think.
Can I ask you about gas masks? I noticed a lot of your work has gas masks, and I'm fascinated by this. Can you kind of give me some background about that?
Well, I growing up during the 80s and, the Cold War, the 70s and 80s, and we remember that movie The Day After?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like a big deal when that came out. It was scary, seeing the effects of what a nuclear war would be.
What was that, like a peach? It's the last peach?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could never get that out of my head as a little kid. Oh my God.
So, I mean, that was a big deal to us kids and, and I think junior high. And so we were kind of obsessed with the end of the world and, toxic radiation and gas masks, of course. And I always thought the gas mask looked like a skull. So it was kind of, and so I did this logo and I spray painted it on the side of my car. And it was a gas mask with these two missiles. So it was like a skull and crossbones. And I still use it now. It's
before 9/11.
Oh, this is the 80s.
Oh, okay.
And so I always just thought it was kind of like a modern version of a skull, symbolized that way, and I just think they look cool.
So do you? What's like? Do people get upset at your work? Is there some like a creepy vibe that people just can't stand? Do they yell at you?
Yeah. No, not at this point. Everyone, people. I'm surprised that so many people are into it, really, because I had this whole thing where I was gonna, follow my bliss. I was gonna paint what I wanted, and if the follow your bliss theory worked, I would be able to make a living at it. So I was kind of like testing the theory that I kind of believed in. So I just did it, and I was like, I'm gonna paint monsters and creepy stuff because it just makes me happy and I love it. And so it's been, it was kind of hard to get in galleries at first, but I never really got. People just didn't really care at first. They didn't really get mad at me.
Worse than someone hating it is somebody just shrugging.
Yeah,
the shoulders is the worst review, right? If somebody spazzed out, I mean, that's actually good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, but people are kind of into it now.
Yeah.
It's surprising. I think I don't know why. Really.
Now, are you a nihilist?
No.
In the Big Lebowski sense of the word.
No.
Are you an
super
optimist?
Positive, yeah.
And you believe in the greater good of humanity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's the complete opposite.
That's
of
the
a
whole point. I think
nihilist.
of the whole dark art movement is
There's a lot of shiny, happy people in the dark art
There
movement.
is. They're the coolest people.
Yes,
I'm serious.
actually.
It's such a weird phenomenon that this guy did a documentary about me called "I Like to Paint Monsters" that came out. I don't know,
Amazing.
just a few months ago. And
Shout out to Mike.
it was going to be Mike Carell. He's great.
Shout out.
Great man.
Love you.
And he wanted to do a documentary about me because he liked my art, but over the 3 years that the documentary was created, it turned out it's really about the whole dark art movement and how it's such a positive thing, and all the dark art people are super cool and nice, and it's weird. It's really strange.
And then the Hello Kitty painters, those are the ones that you got to worry about.
You gotta see
those
them.
are the Debbie Downers.
See them next Tuesday.
So let's say we have another Chet Zar painting in the hopper here. If we can click to the next scene here. Is this,
clown.
So clowns. Now, are people really afraid of clowns?
Oh yeah, my wife hates clowns.
Wow.
Anytime I do a clown painting, she was like, turn it around.
So this is a little more recent than.
No, this is an old one. This is 2000.
Oh, is that 2006? Oh, yikes,
Yeah,
okay.
it's an
I
old
love
one,
how
too.
he's in that oversized shirt.
This is I took this from a still from some old movie, and it was back before I didn't know that you shouldn't do that. And you should shoot your own reference. I mean, that's like when I got serious, 2005, 2006. But that was actually my only political painting, really, because it was kind of like George Bush. That was during the Bush.
The height of the Bush era.
Yeah, so it was George Bush in the middle. You see the clown is actually.
Can you talk about the people in the background?
Yeah. Well, the clown is shades of red, white, and blue.
Right.
There's a bluish. It doesn't look like it here, but the shirt's kind of a bluish green color. It's
They're
kind of
smoking
bluish.
out of their heads?
And they all have little antennas, so they're kind of like the
drone.
Oh,
human
the drone.
robot.
people that aren't questioning anything. Because I remember,
It's like Bozo for president.
when the Gulf War happened, it was like you couldn't say anything against it.
Oh,
And
man,
people
it
would
was-
like if you said anything against it, you would
yeah.
get massive hate, and people.
Oh, yeah.
It was weird. It's like you couldn't criticize the president or anything.
Oh yeah.
So-
And then I remember that comedian Janine Garofalo. The only person they could find that had the balls to go on and debate people on the news was Janine Garofalo.
Right.
No celebrities would say anything,
I know,
and everything she
yeah.
said was right. And
Right.
where did she go?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy
terrible,
times.
terrible,
It was
terrible.
bad times.
Cool. So where are you showing now?
I show at Copro is my main gallery.
Copper Gallery in Santa Monica.
Yeah, at Santa Monica, and I'm going to curate a show at Greg's gallery at
Gregorio Escalante Gallery
In
on
Chinatown?
Chongqing
Yes,
What's the name of the show?
it is Dark Realism, Dark Surrealism.
Dark Realism,
Nice.
Dark Surrealism.
And when
wow.
is that?
Is it beginning of December or end of November? I'm not
December
sure.
Just in time.
5th. The opening's December 5th. Okay, I
Just
have
in
it on the
time
calendar.
for Christmas.
Good, yeah.
Last night you explained why that title is. Could you remind me what you said last night? I really liked it, about why it's titled
Never
that.
expect a man on Sunday morning to say what he said on.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me on that one.
No, what I said is, well, it's kind of featuring this Myron Dial guy that's kind of this visionary
Myron.
artist
Myron.
who sees all these maybe dark Hades-like creatures, but they're real to him because he sees them in visions from his epilepsy side effects or whatever it is. So he's got this amazing, creepy, super creepy body of work. So that seemed to me like that's dark realism to him. And then dark surrealism are these other happy-go-lucky dark guys that that get there
Yeah.
consciously.
Yeah,
So
we don't-
that's surrealism.
We don't have to have seizures to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's move to the next photo. We've got a Christopher Ulrich photo in the hopper here. Oh, okay. This is
Insane.
I pulled this off your website.
This is insane.
This is a pretty well-known artwork of yours, right, Christopher?
Yeah, this is one of the larger pieces. This is the Last Supper.
How large?
This is a 16 foot by 8 foot.
Wow.
It's insane.
It breaks apart in 4
what kind of
panels.
paint?
Oil.
Oil paint on canvas?
On wood.
On wood.
Yeah, I made it super heavy.
And
Ridiculous.
so where is this displayed? What
it was-
cathedral is this being displayed at?
Well, yes, we're working on that. We're working on that. The Inquisitors are coming soon. But
That's
no,
going to be in our show.
Yeah.
This piece is going to be in the show that
It's
I
gonna,
curated.
yeah. Greg's gonna feature it in December. So anybody who didn't get to see it,
Greg, you got a wall that big?
Yes, and I missed it when it showed at a few other places, so now there's no way I'm missing it. So I really wanted to see it in person because everyone
One
that
of the
sees it
things-
raves about
Yeah,
it. So you have to see it in
it's a
person.
masterpiece. It really is.
oh, thank you.
One of the things I love about your art is that when you paint figures, you start with the bones and then the muscles, and then you lay on the skin so that it's very old school.
Yes, I do that unfortunately often, but sometimes I,
Does that adds to the length that it takes to paint?
which I have less and less time to do. So
Yeah.
now it's like sometimes I create like a kind of a hodgepodge skeleton, but I do love that sensation
Building them.
of pushing tissue and wrapping things. Not just painting, but playing with it as if you're, like a kid. When you see a kid drawing and he's making sound effects. When he's drawing, he's going wow, wow, because unfortunately, I guess I never lost that. So I kept.
You have an amazing ongoing exhibition at Wolfskopf, Rothskeller.
That was a very special project.
Yes, it's murals of German mythology
Basically.
revisioned
Yeah.
by you.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder what a Chet Zar bar would look like.
Oh, that's coming. If I have any say in that, that's coming.
I don't know if I have it in me. I don't know how he
What do
did
you mean
it.
had it in you? We're gonna force
He
you.
worked on that for a year. He was sleeping there. I mean, it was insane.
Well, I know now a lot of guys sleep at the bar. Oh, never mind. Okay.
No, but this is
Yeah, at one point they did get me a cot.
Yeah.
And the place is actually haunted, or so to speak. So I had an
Wow.
actual experience. Like,
What, you met a ghost?
well, no. I mean, I have one of my colleagues that was working there claims he saw one and he was pushed down the stairs. But
Is he a weirdo?
Huh?
Is this guy a weirdo?
I think I'm
I
in
mean-
good. I think I'm in good company. Yes.
Greg-
I
now
think.
Greg
Only
claims-
weirdos talk to me. The present company excluded.
well,
Greg claims he was bit by a stingray. It's a little different than being haunted by a ghost, but
Tell
he
us-
has some proof. So we're
us
gonna
your
we're-
ghost story.
But tell us the ghost story.
Well, the building itself in Pasadena is an incredible building just to visit. It's an old building. I think it was the old Civic Hall or the Central, it was a police station. I know that there were cells underneath my feet that have been buried up now, so people were like beaten there back in the day. I mean, it's just like the place got a lot of history. And I'm in what's called the Rackskeller, which is the basement muraling. And it's my first time that I'm going to be spending the entire night there. So soon enough, when they leave, it's about 3:30, 4, and I'm really finally getting into painting. And I start getting the heebie-jeebies, you know what I mean? But it's my imagination. I know it's my imagination, so. And then suddenly I hear this sound from upstairs, like this bang, something bangs the table. And the banging of the table wasn't like something fell or whatever. It felt like a purposeful bang.
Like bang.
Yeah, and then that was it. Next thing you know, I'm in my cot with like the bartender's like ice knife and a flashlight. How a knife is going to protect me from a ghost, I don't know, but it felt good.
It never hurt Casper, so.
So that's my story on that one.
Wow, I'm scared now.
No, it's a really
I think our
impressive
studio's
series.
haunted.
It's a dark
No,
show.
no,
It's a
we
dark
got rid of the fly
episode.
though.
I like
That was a
what
purposeful bang.
I like what Kubrick said about, you know, when they was working on The Shining. He said like it was very optimistic actually to believe in ghosts. You know, this like life after death type of thing.
Okay, it's a
so
vote of
you know what I
faith.
mean. So it did. I like living in a universe in which the potentiality is that there is ghosts and phantasms and wild things.
How long did the painting we're looking at take?
I did the whole series in, well, it took me about a year to do all the ideas and raise the money. And then I basically painted the entire series in about a year.
Wow.
That's crazy. That
was-
one painting should have taken a year, I would think.
Well,
It's so big.
The
The other
was pretty
paintings
fanatical.
are huge.
Wow, wow, wow.
They're like all big paintings and custom framed.
So
It's insane.
what's going on in this painting relative to, it's the Last Supper, but it doesn't look a lot as much like Da Vinci's. There's just way more people.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I didn't want, for some reason when I was working on this Last Supper piece, it wasn't going to be like a derogatory thing. I wanted to really get into it. Like I got into wanting to really depict and understand what this Last Supper thing is, because it came to me and I was like, I'm not gonna do like a master copy rendition and I'm not gonna populate it with just some cartoon characters or whatever, which is fine. I actually wanted to get into what the Last Supper was for me. And so it generated all these characters. I mean, I studied, you know, maps of the solar system, so they're all part of the solar system. So like different people represent Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto.
And I noticed
you know.
the elemental and alchemical symbols or planetary symbols
Yeah.
within there.
Well, I really like the whole concept of alchemy in a psychological sense, like the concept of transformation. I mean, if you're gonna do anything in this life, you don't just do it for money. You do it to actually improve yourself and to gain a deeper understanding of things. And in a weird way, this alchemical process, in conjunction with painting, has really a lot of incredible richness to it. And like with the dragon in the center of the, you know, being washed by the cherubs and all this sort of thing. This kind of idea of, you know, they equate having lead consciousness or consciousness that's kind of unenlightened and going through this whole kind of metamorphosis. You go through this process. Like there's 3 main phases. There's the black phase, there's the white phase, and there's the red phase. And whenever you start any kind of creative endeavor, you can kind of loosely relate to this alchemical process. And the dark phase is when like you're immersed in it and you go through a lot of tumultuous difficulty. I mean, you know how long it took you to paint. I mean, you know, I started painting with lemons. Like I tried to paint a lemon. It was the most disastrous lemon you've ever seen. And I just kept going at it.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
But now I love
Paint
lemons.
lemons.
Oh, we're having a lemon party. Good Lord.
Oh
that
my
wasn't
God,
exactly
I'm
my...
out of here right now.
Yes.
What's a lemon party?
Oh, Google it. And
I
while
don't
you're
even
at
know
it,
what it is.
I mean,
Google
don't-
blue waffle while you're at it. Just go ahead.
What do you call those things? Cocoa tacos? What do you call them?
Choco tacos.
Choco tacos. Yes, that was my
I got-
Choco
this is too
taco
many things
moment
to
right
Google
there.
at once.
Okay, Google lemon party.
Okay, I'm just, wait, go on. Go on
No,
about
I mean,
now,
like,
what's the white
and,
phase?
and
Images.
you know, when you have something in you and you don't have the skill or the experience to get it out, it's frustrating. And you have to go through this tremendous period of work, you know, and failure, and work and failure. And then you enter a phase, the white phase, where things get really burning. But the white phase burns all the impurities away. and you're actually left with something. You have something, you accomplish something, you got a little piece of something. And then what happens is it asks you to go even further. You know, like some people stop at that phase. You know, like they come up with something that's successful and they just kind of replicate that. And I don't blame that. But the process is actually asking you to go deeper and you have to it's a constant ebb of destruction and creation. You have to remove as much as you put in. And you get to what this cathartic element is. Like Picasso said, in the end, a painting is just the discarded remains.
Chet,
right?
Chet, do you go through all this shit, or do you just make a painting?
I just make a painting.
Okay,
I wish I could be like that. I mean,
know.
it's
I like making just a painting.
I just do it intuitively.
And I don't think he just makes a painting. I think this process is going on. It's just, you know, it's just talking about it and doing it is two different
I think
things.
it's a different approach. It's more,
Different
mine's
approach.
just more intuitive, but I feel like I'm getting at the same place. I'm trying to.
You land
make
at the same place or a
truth
different
and-
path?
Yeah, it's a completely intuitive. I'm not great. I'm not that smart, and I'm not, I don't know
Oh,
that
my
much.
Lord.
But I can.
But you're damn humble. So let's see. There's another image we have of a Christopher Ulrich painting that I chose. I was fascinated with this.
Wow, yeah, that's a great one.
So what year is this from?
This was from the Illuminator show. I believe that was in 2010.
Wow.
I actually got a chance to do my own series at the Luz de Jesus Gallery.
Oh wow.
And I moved to the desert to do it. And
Okay.
and I had a great studio, and I got.
Usually most artists move to the desert after showing with La Luz de Jesus. No, okay, sorry. Okay, so you moved to the desert to make the Illuminator series.
Yes, actually, yes. And because I had to do a large amount of work in a short amount of time. And I had the opportunity to actually have a wonderful studio, which afterwards I lost. But it was an amazing experience. And that piece is, I believe, called Grace, if I'm not mistaken.
Aren't both of you guys in a show that's at LACMA right now?
That's right. We're in the Guillermo del Toro.
What? You're both in LACMA right now?
Wow, you're both.
We're just in LACMA. It happens.
Wait, okay. You are both showing at the LA County Museum of Art, and it took him to mention it? Wow.
Because they're both really modest.
Pretty humble, yeah.
Yeah.
So what show are you at the LA County Museum of Art right now?
Oh, an incredible exhibit. The Del Toro exhibit, Living with Monsters, which in my case is
Living with
perfect,
Monsters.
perfect title of a show.
No reference to any women in your life.
So
I don't wanna
what
do
is
that
the
to women in my
title of
paintings.
each of your pieces that are in the show?
I'm sorry?
What is the title of your piece or pieces in the Guillermo del Toro show?
Yeah, what is the title of your piece in the show? We're right next to each other, too. It's
Was it
pretty
like
cool.
feed the beast with your own blood?
Is that what it's called?
A family-friendly piece.
And
Well, it's
yours?
with George Washington.
The one next to his is called The Evil Eye, and then I have another one called Peekaboo, and then I have another one called I Want You.
Wow.
Nice. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank
So
you.
so
I'm
so
looking
It's an
forward
honor
the
to be
show.
how
in
did
that
you
show.
deal with the museum bureaucracy? Was it like the DMV at all?
Oh, it's the easiest thing ever.
They were I got the nicest email ever.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
super polite.
It was all from Guillermo's
my
collection,
goodness.
so they just got it from his place. It's
Oh,
stuff he owns of ours.
Oh, okay.
It's stuff he owns from all
Okay, so
different
the
artists.
exhibit really wanted to highlight the fact that Guillermo del Toro is actually engaged in other people's art. He's not just this egomaniac
Right,
who
right.
makes his own vision. He understands his part of the collective unconscious.
Yeah, I think the idea was, from what I read and what I know about him, is that this stuff is what inspires him.
Ah.
So he's a major collector. So this
It's
is
like therapeutic for him.
Right.
Like it's like if he's had a bad day or something, he can go in there and like take a bath in the art. It's all salon style.
It's
covers every
packed.
square inch, and then he
It's
gets to know
insane.
better. It's a mood elevator for him.
yeah.
You know, I might be wrong on this, but they did something really intriguing. They included pieces of their permanent collection in the exhibit, which confused some people because they were like, wait a minute, is this his or not? And I think they did that so brilliantly because it adds historical reference
Yeah.
to the fact that the work itself and what's going on is it's been going on for a long time.
Yes,
I mean,
very
you look at Goya's etchings and you look at William Blake,
Bosch,
and
of course.
and you look at these kinds of historical reference of the macabre, so to speak, or the darkness. I mean, it really shows you this incredible cathartic kind of movement of how do you deal with being in a world that's totally insane, where people are killing each other and butchering each other, and you're part of that murdering cycle? Well, you make incredible drawings of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you feel better.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
right? I mean,
And then you go look at art like that, and it,
I don't want to be butchered. I don't feel good about it.
I see how like the symbolism and the detail and just the layers that go into doing
Nobody's
this.
gonna
and it's
butcher
relaxing.
you. It's different when you
No,
have
they're just-
blue hair and glasses.
Excuse me.
no, yeah, your hair is blue. I knew
Yeah,
it.
it
I knew
is.
it was blue.
I'm
So-
a woman,
so
you know. I'm
what-
more
what's
likely to be
going-
killed
What's
than
going
you.
on? What's going on in this piece?
Oh, this is a Christ in the underworld.
Ah,
And in the
There's
drawing, he
Kerberos.
has a joint, not the infinity symbol, but in the painting, it turned out to be an infinity symbol. So
it looks like okay, it's an infinite joint.
it's an infinite joint, in which
And
I
it's
think that if I'm
burning
in
the
limbo
stigmata.
and in hell, I want to be stoned. Yeah, and he's and like remember I talked to you about the alchemical process. So
Yeah.
you have the Cerberus hound with
The
the
three
three different heads of the processing.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna top the gore and the intensity of your art and your art by the true story of Mr. Greg Escalante, who was attacked yesterday surfing.
This is the second
Oh,
time.
by the way, do you think Balboa in Newport Beach is the best place to surf?
No.
Oh, our previous guest did. So, okay, so we want to zoom in. Hey, can we get a camera shot, zoom in on this man's toe?
But this is the second time you've been stingray.
No, this is the fifth time.
Fifth time this
Let's
season.
let him tell
The
the story.
third time this season.
Okay, let's hear it.
I need to see Greg's mic first.
Well, he wasn't really attacked. He was the
One second. Oh, sorry.
Wait, has it not been on the whole show?
It's been coming on and off.
Uh-oh. Loudly. Okay, here we go.
Anyway, it was the stingray. It was self-defense because it was shallow water. My fin was about to hit, so you can't always shuffle when you're utilizing the ocean. So I jumped off the board under the water, right onto. At first, it felt like a jellyfish. It was all squishy. Like hit it square on. And I go, oh my God, it's a stingray. And usually you can pull your foot off quick enough, but they're lightning fast, and he got me good. And it's like this crazy.
big was it?
razor
How
blade,
big
so-
was the-
So it cuts it and
No, we
sticks it in, and the poison just goes in.
Wow.
On the tail, there's a barb on the tail.
There's no barb.
There's no barb. So what stings you actually?
Well, it's coated with the venom, and that's what.
Oh,
goes
so
in.
the whole tail itself has many
Yeah,
prickly.
venoms, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
so
even if you
cool.
have a booty, you
Yeah.
can go right through it because it's like this amazing needle.
Wow.
But maybe if you had a booty, it would scrape some of the venom off, so it wouldn't be as
All
bad.
right. What happened to the stingray?
Oh, he just swims away. He doesn't really get hurt.
Okay.
Lift your foot up there, Greg.
Lift your foot up. See where the camera is? Lift your foot up.
Yeah,
Can you zoom in on that toe?
That nasty ass toe.
That toe right there.
it's kind of like a Popeye foot.
Well, usually it gets all better after you soak it in water, but this time it got infected, so it all swelled up and was all itchy this morning, and it was horrible.
Have you been soaking it in vinegar? Does that help?
No, but I got Chet to pee on it in the green room.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so I-
actually a good tradition.
Yeah, I think
Your
that'll
own
fix
pee
everything.
is even better.
All right.
For everyone's information, he has healing pee. So like, if you want to send
Are
a
you gonna be
donation,
selling that?
you want to send a donation, you get a jar.
My
You know,
holy water.
yes.
Well, Greg, we are glad that you survived your fifth stingray bite.
Yeah.
We hope it's your final one and that you don't have to endure such.
I gotta just test out how it works with medieval footwear armor, and if I think that's what it'll do.
You could be wearing that surfing. Okay, so basically we've learned today that some people like to surf at Balboa in Newport and other people don't.
Well, Newport's really good. It's just Balboa is. I think of it as like the part that doesn't have the waves, but I guess maybe the peninsula. So.
Okay.
But Newport's
okay.
super good.
Okay, we're gonna have an arm wrestling match. We're going out to Chinese food because that's what we do after every episode of Modern Art Blitz. And today, our episode has concluded. This was our 34th, 33rd, 32nd?
34th or 35th?
33? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're there somewhere. We're in the 30s now. We're 30-something. We do
I'm
this every
always
Sunday.
30-something.
And holding. We do this every Sunday at 5 o'clock live at Dromebox.com. This is Modern Art Blitz. My lovely co-host, Lisa Derrick, assisted me, your host, Mat Gleason, in this show. We were directed by Abel Alejandre in the booth. Nolan Silverstein ran around and produced in some capacity. Our guests today included the great painter Gary Brewer, the fabulous Chet Zar, Christopher Ulrich, and gallerist extraordinaire and survivor of an animal attack, Gregorio Escalante. I don't have a tagline. We are out.